Today we're heading to a picturesque location popular among photographers, to the big Almaty Lake of the Ilela Town National Park. Our guide is a wildlife photographer, Pavel Mihaev. Our jeep ascends the Serpentine Road with confidence, higher and higher up the mountain. On our way we see so many interesting things. Every turn hides a fascinating story. This place, Brest 1, Hydroelectric Power Station 1, is well known in Kassel-Zashita. Almost every year, mudstone streams descend from the right tributary of the Kumbelsu River. Right of nature is unstoppable. In 1977, the mud flow came down particularly strong, completely washing off the bridge. That was when they built this metal hanging bridge. This is exactly where that mud flow passed through in the late 80s. Dozens of people were cut off from the land. They were evacuated later. Many people went up to the mountains on that slope on this side. They left their cars here, along the road, in some sort of parking pockets. There were no cases of looting, because the police was on duty. There were very many people that day in the mountains. The mud flow always comes down on hot days, in July or August, during the peak tourist season in the gorge.
Жаркие дни в июле, в августе, а именно это время посещения ущелья туристами.
Despite it being very early in the morning, there are already visitors on the lake. Couples from all over the country come here to film their love stories. These guys are from Atarau. The wedding will begin very soon, and they decided to come to the lake at 5 a.m. But even at this early hour, we met policemen patrolling the banks of the reservoir. The altitude is 2,512 meters, highlands, the big Almaty Lake. Its origin is tectonic, meaning the lake was formed as a result of a strong earthquake. Today the lake serves as a source of drinking water, therefore there is a large water protection zone here. It is strictly prohibited to come down to the water, not to mention swimming in the lake. On top of that, who will dare to swim here, knowing that the water temperature doesn't rise above 8–10 degrees Celsius? The only ones that are comfortable enough with this temperature are ruddy shelducks. I saw 1 or 2 flocks. Apparently they are teaching their younglings to fly. The Kazakh name of the lake is Jasil-Kol, the Blue Lake, but today it is not even turquoise. The colors beckon and invite photographers at any time of the year. What is better for the photo set, clear or cloudy water? Clear water, it gives a deeper image. In soft mode, it turns out milky. We are trying to take a picture of the moment when the nature is just waking up.
Поймать тот миг, когда он еще только-только вот природа просыпается, раннее утро.
Pavel works as a photographer for a newspaper. He's been shooting since he was 14. Laureate of many competitions, he is a well-known figure in the world of photography. But back to the lake. It's almost always quiet and cool here. The Tian-Shan high-altitude scientific station is up there, on the Jusaliki-Zen Pass. People call it Cosmos Station. The lake is about 1.5 kilometers long and 40 meters deep. This is a strategic object. In addition, the border with Kyrgyzstan is nearby. Therefore, when coming to the lake, make sure you have your ID with you. Border guards can request you to show your documents. Also, once the sun sets, the temperature drops almost instantly, so don't forget to pack your jackets. Another piece of information, there are no restaurants nearby, and if you want to have a picnic, you'll need to bring your lunch boxes along. But most importantly, clean up your garbage. Dozens of rivulets and streams feed the lake. The staff of the Ilela Town National Park keeps a close eye on them. They set up photo traps at the watering places in hopes to capture rare animals on tape. They have already taken a photo of a Siberian mountain goat tauteker, raw deer, and dream about a snap of a snow leopard. Inspectors are also making the rounds around the lake and look after the fauna of the region. Here we see the fireweed, locally known as Ivan chai. There is such a riot of colors, the fragrance is indescribable, simply amazing. Is it allowed to pick a flower, take it home? Well, you pick it, you take it home, but very few people know that this is a red-listed endemic plant, and our task is to protect and pass it on to future generations. You may descend from the lake by driving on a narrow, winding road, or you can walk on foot, as they say, on a pipe. This picturesque pipe is very popular with tourists, and not only as a trail. Even ballerinas arrange photo shoots here. Daring bikers swiftly fly down the pipe, paragliders use it as a landmark. This tiny village is called Res 2. Look at the angle at which the pipe comes down to the village. The power plant turbine meets the rapid flow of water and generates electricity. The station was built right after the World War II. There were no machines available, perhaps just horses and a couple of old trucks. Nevertheless, even after 70 years, this local attraction, the power station, is still in working condition. A city with population of 2 million is located just 15 kilometers from here, posing a serious pressure to the wildlife around us. The employees of the national park understand this, and they are doing everything to ensure the comfort of the tourists. These days, every tourist wants to get to the big Almaty Lake. We have observation platforms where you can look at the lake, enjoying the view. There are other places apart from the lake. We are mainly creating primitive places for tourists to rest, benches, bridges across the rivers, so that tourists can walk through, have some rest, so that everything we build works well with our nature. We get the proof at the big Almaty Gorge. Visitors descending from the mountains are carrying big black plastic bags filled with trash, placing them in tanks next to the check post of the national park. To those entering the territory, young enthusiasts are handing colorful leaflets with the slogan, "There is no such things as not my garbage, only you and the priceless beauty of nature." We participate in an initiative called We Are for a Clean City. We are giving out plastic bags, and people bring them back with trash they collect. In return, we give them little prizes. Today we have away 400 bags, and almost all of them will be returned full of garbage. People are rather keen on participating. Many ask for additional bags. If a person goes to a picnic, most of the garbage will fit into the bag we provide. Our route lies on the plain along the mountains. Photographer Pavel decided to show us a colony of grey herons. These large, long-legged birds are very comfortable on a tiny, uninhabited island. I've been coming here for many years now to watch this colony, and I'm glad that it is not that far from Almaty. There is an amazing place here, as if it was created by nature solely for wildlife photographers, with snowy mountains in the background. What makes this place so amazing is that in the spring, common cranes and demoiselle cranes are flying over this area. This spring I observed 5 flocks of 200 to 300 birds. I know they are flying in circles around here. Once they flew over us during the sunset. It was insane.
Прямо над нами, да, прямо над нами пролетели на закате. Это было сумасшедшее что-то было.
Like any traveler, the wildlife photographer has never-ending stories from life of animals and birds.
Машины едут, поселок населенный. Ты представляешь, кряква с птенцами.
In the village, the road is busy, and can you imagine a mallard with chicks begins to cross the road? I'm driving the first car. I turn on the emergency stop signal, and she quacks and crosses the road. Wild duck crossing the road in the city with such small ducklings. What is the best distance to be shooting animals and birds? Well, it depends on the lens you are using. A lot depends on the person. The way you approach the animal, the way you behave. The closer you get, the higher the chance to shoot something amazing. Naturally, the bigger the lens, the better.
У тебя есть больше фактор снять что-то более удивительное и близкое. Естественно, оптику нужно, чем больше, тем лучше.
I'm familiar with your wonderful photo morning swim featuring the moose swimming across Lake Yazevaya. Were you using a monopod for that?
Они были сняты в Катон-Карагайском национальном парке в 2007 году.
Yes, I made this shot in 2014 in the Katon-Karagay National Park. I went to take pictures of the mountain in the Altai, Beluga. It was 5 a.m. With a stand and lens on, I was standing there shooting the transition of light and shadows. With my left eye, I noticed something moving in my direction. The cows were there too. I remember clearly. I turn my head and see a couple of young moose moving towards me. Right before my eyes, they came to the lake, jumped in and started swimming. I reacted, put on a big lens and began to take pictures. I could hardly catch my breath from excitement. I really wanted to get as many beautiful shots as possible.
Дыхание, все, и у меня руки немножко были нестабильны. Я переживал, чтобы у меня больше получилось красивых резких кадров.
Special equipment to match the area. After all, you never know where fate will lead you this time. Therefore, the photographer's car is packed with tents, ground pads, mini hides, and of course, swamp boots.
Желательно, конечно, естественно, надеть сапоги, потому что здесь два брода переходить.
I would suggest you to get dressed here, because we'll have to pass through 2 forts just to make sure no one bites you. From this spot, you could capture everything that can happen in a bird colony, from the moment of hatching to their first attempts to fly.
Молодых цапель, наверное.
Yes, you can fully trace the life of young herons. The main thing is not to disturb the colony. This colony was forming for many years. It's better to watch from afar and admire them. Last time we saw a fox here, sitting under these reeds. I just bought this lens, put it on, but it was still too far.
В прошлый раз вот здесь мы увидели лису.
The fox saw us, but didn't run away until we drove up too close.
Я спускался вот с этого бугра, и она вот так вот села, придержалась на нас, смотри. Я как раз, кстати, купил только этот объектив, поставил его, но было очень далеко, и, естественно, она увидела нас и не убегала, пока мы немножко не дошли.
Probably one of the reasons our colony is still alive is that the herons nest on trees. Otherwise, they would have been eaten long ago. Yes, most likely. The fox was not just casually walking around here. It was observing. In case a heron chick lost its guard and fell, the fox would devour it in an instant.
Она его сожрет, просто-напросто сожрет.
The wildlife on pictures, a bee on a flower or a gentle hoopoe walking between feather grass, look very much alive, and you can admire them endlessly. Hundreds of kilometers off the road, dawns in the wild gorges, and often nights by the fire in the tent stand behind taking that one perfect shot.
Люблю цветочные поля снимать, естественно. А весной они очень...
I like to take pictures of flower fields. They're exceptionally picturesque in spring. Irises, tulips, cornflowers are covering foothills like a colorful carpet.
Синие поля.
Ирисы, тюльпаны.
Ирисы, тюльпаны, васильки.
А вот это что за цветы?
What kind of flower is this? This is cornflower. Cornflower fields are often found near Kapchagai. There are flower fields next to Jet again. Sometimes there are just cornflowers. Now we'll go back to take pictures of a poppy field.
Сейчас вот здесь неподалеку мы поедем снимать маковое поле.
There are many differently colored poppies. This field is traditionally scarlet. They can also be burgundy, blue, and even white. Very beautiful, juicy, noble flowers. But I wouldn't suggest anyone to pick them in great amounts. Delicate flowers like poppies do not last long. An hour or so and petals will start to fall off. The best thing to do is to come here with friends and family and take pictures. Pavel, for instance, brings here groups of 20 to 30 people and makes photo sessions. This is a very trendy location.
Где это находится, что это, когда вообще...
Last time I posted a photo. Everyone wants to know where is this place, with poppies already blooming. Many people travel, see this beauty, begin to share pictures. Since they share them in social networks and not through direct messages, the information reaches people much faster. I come here to take pictures. I also got myself a flying friend. We send the drone up and enjoy the view from above. It is just splendid.
И выложил сразу в интернет, и люди смотрят. Я сюда приезжаю в основном фотографировать. Естественно, я снимаю на фотоаппарат, снимаю... Сейчас я приобрел себе воздушного друга. Теперь у меня не могу не только с земли эту всю красоту наблюдать, но и с воздуха.
Moving on. In a small green valley there is an unremarkable step precipice, and suddenly dozens of oddly colored bright birds fly out of there. They are bee-eaters.
Птицы живут колониями, большими стаями и взлетают исключительно с обрывистого берега.
These birds live in colonies or large flocks and take off only from the precipitous shores. They are unable to fly from the plain surface. These birds spent winters in Africa, arriving here in April, and now they are raising their little chicks. After a short time, these bright little birds will fly away. I must say that beekeepers don't like bee-eaters because they feed on bees and wasps, tearing off the sting before they swallow their meal.
Щурков очень не любят пчеловоды, потому что основной корм щурков – это шершни, пчелы, осы. Прежде чем съесть добычу, они обязательно отрывают жало у насекомых.
I carefully looked into all holes at eye level. I couldn't see nestlings. Apparently, they hid deep from the surface. But I did hear squeaks in the nests. Restless parents carry food in their beaks. Some males continue to deepen their nests so that neither foxes nor jackals or prey birds could reach their offspring. Our trip from the Alpine Lake of the Ilela Town National Park to the nameless steppe swamp has been successfully completed. Life is manifesting itself very lively in every place we visited. In some areas, the beauty is conspicuous. In other places, you need to push through the thickets to be able to see it. This is not our last journey. There is still so much more to learn and see, like latest photos of our optimistic guide, Pavel Mihaev.